just depends on what Burden's last pick is. Like if you put, for example, like a Tidehunter up against a Bristleback 1v1, that's a pretty advantageous lane for him. So I doubt that Empire want to go straight into a 3-1-1. So it really just depends on what Burden decide to pick as their offlane hero.
Oh, we're going to find out in 30 seconds because they're running out of time for it. Hi guys, we sat down.
We can't be expected to stand the entire time.
I don't know why we came back to us for a moment. Thanks to our production guys, keeping us on our toes, or on our asses.
I could have been picking my nose or something. They should really inform me about stuff like that.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, at least you're not eating it on stream, we're all good.
Alright, so I'm just going to continue talking. So Clockwork is the pickup. This, I think Empire would be comfortable in a one-on-one situation with. Putting the Bristleback against the Clockwork straight up, just because you can trade farm so well.
Yeah, so then you can run your aggro trial lane, and Clockwork's going to get in such trouble later on in the game too. Like if he's not getting nightmared, he's going to get glimpsed straight back out after he hook shots in. So yeah, that control factor, that rocket barrage factor won't be there. And Earthshaker, the final pickup from Team Empire. And who's taking what? So Resolutions on the Bristleback. We got Silent for the Gyrocopter, which means we're running a core Earthshaker here.
Yeah, and this is what I assume because of the fact that you need something that will survive against a Wisp +1 combination, and Bristle's one of those heroes that does it really well. Like, you don't really get too much in them, but you don't have to, just because of the fact that you'll get plenty of experience. Once you have a few levels of the Bristleback, you're not really ever in a position to die against that combination, and Bristleback is just one of those heroes, Toby, that is the best in the game at counter-initiating. Like, once they go on you, if their initial burst damage doesn't kill you, then he turns around on you and goes to work.
Well, let's get into the lanes, man, because we're already underway, so we can have a bit of a look around. Of course, had a little bit of pressure for a lane environment. It's a very comfortable lane environment. Players are in wonderful air-conditioned comfort, comfortable rooms, comfortable chairs, all that kind of jazz. But let's see our lanes now. So Soshka, also tagged up as Paris, has been for the last year. He'll be the Clockwork here on the off lane. A bit of Aloha dance into the role as a Disruptor. Always when a Fly is taking the Bane role. That moves then down to Silence Gyrocopter. In towards the mid, you'll have Resolution as the Bristleback, and that leaves the off laner, Yoki, taking up the role as Earthshaker. He'll be up against a defensive dual lane by the looks of it. It's going to be the Necrolite plus either Wisp or Witch Doctor, and then Sing Sing into the mid with also potentially either Wisp or Witch Doctor, and that wraps up our lanes.
Yeah, and they really need to deathball quickly because Empire, they don't really have the best way to dispel pushes and stuff like that. It like pretty much heavily relies on the Earthshaker being able to get levels for them to stop stuff like that. And I think they need a lot of movement from Aloha Dance in this Bane, always on the fly, to be able to do much. And like I said, in middle, Sing Sing should have a really decent time, especially if Nuts comes in here and provides some backup with the bottle.
Well, they did give it to him. He took the 100 rune.
Actually, it looks like he's just going down in this area, so they might just assume the same thing I did, is like, okay, it's going to be Resolution mid. There's no point in having to dual lane against that. Let's just try to keep Yoki down as much as we possibly can.
Alright.
What's up?
Hi, my mojo's off today.
What? No, what's wrong, man?
Just being stressed, it's fine. We focus on the game. This Earthshaker off lane, it's such a crazy role to play too. When you're able to just throw out that fissure, he didn't bring a lot of clarity, so there's not a lot of mana regeneration for him on the off lane. So with the fissure block, he's already going to guarantee himself level 2. Looks like also Sing Sing not having the greatest time up against Resolution in the mid, dropping very, very low. These quill sprays must have really started to stack up on Sing.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful just because of the fact that he can't really let Resolution snowball in this lane because Burden don't have the best way to deal with him on top of the Gyrocopter. That's what you always have to think of, is like, okay, they could kill the Bristleback, but how do you kill the combination of both heroes when they're running at you?
Oh, they're gonna have a... Okay, I thought a lower dance. Yeah, now we can actually have a player Soshka. Got the cogs off just in time, pushing Always Want to Fly it back. Didn't take the mana away for the Nightmare, but what it did do was just keep him with a little bit more range so the Nightmare couldn't be cast. But it is quite a problem on this top lane, because you start looking over and you realize Rocket Barrage and Flight Cannon, you turn that one on. If there's the Thunderstrike, which it is now available for Disruptor, he could potentially level that one up. Bane with the Brain Sap. That's a very quick and efficient kill on Soshka.
Yeah, all he has to do is play the waiting game, because this isn't the best offensive combination unless they get the sleep off in conjunction with Bristol, or with Gyrocopter getting his Q off, and so He just has to play back, play it a little bit safe, and Yoki's just kind of messing with them a little bit.
He tried to play next level and drop the fissure down so he could walk down and pick up the rune himself. Unfortunately for him, though, he blocked himself in on the stairwell, so he couldn't get in through the corner.
Yeah, Sing. We saw a little bit of a rough start, getting harassed, but that's to be expected.
Here they go top. The cogs might come down for Sofka into the rocket barrage, and that should be the first blood. They can get one more attack to disrupt it. He gets it in. So will Loa Dance will spill the first blood, and Team Empire claim the offlaner. It is an offlaner at the end of the day, but it's still an advantage Empire.
Oh yeah, for sure. Getting the kill on the Disruptor helps as well, because he's one of those heroes that is greedy in general, Toby, so he needs to pick up farm wherever he can. Especially with the Bane in the game, like this is one of the more greedy support duos I've seen. Like there's no reliable stun between the two of them, and the damage deal for both of them is kind of like hypothetical. Like if you get a good Disruptor ult off, yeah, it'll do damage. If you get a good Fiend's Grip off, yeah. But both of those things require some conditions to be met.
And Resolution. Actually, something else we didn't talk about, which casting a game recently, I think it was one of the MLG games we cast, is actually the effect of Silver Edge on Dragon Knight. You touched on it getting something like a Shadow Blade, making Sing Sing the initiator, but the fact that if you can get the Silver Edge over onto the DK, he can remove the Bristleback passive. And that'll be the biggest thing, though. You can just basically drop this Bristleback in a matter of seconds.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that that's something that he should consider, because if it's a core hero especially, like it's a mid hero on top of that, you need to put some pressure on him, and to be able to kind of remove the best thing about Bristleback off the bat with just that is huge.
It's literally his name.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it, Toby. It's like Doom without Doom.
It just wouldn't be Doom.
Exactly.
Resolution should be careful as well. Got to keep your eyes peeled on this Witch Doctor as well as Wisp combo. They're just waiting for the 4-minute rune. They're really spending a lot of time to ensure they get the bottom rune. But at the same time, there's no control over on the top rune. Like, you got to move Sing Sing up for it now, but there's a lot of heroes waiting for him. So Sing Sing comes in, he wants to start the stun, he's going to get Nightmare up, Yogi's going to arrive as well, and this really is a nightmare for Sing Sing. He'll get Breach Fire on 3 players, coming with a paralyzing cast. It is going to bounce around, and now in comes Wisp with the tether. We've already got a lot of Quill Spray stacks already on Sing Sing. That's why he had to stun up Resolution and keep him away. Commonly threw out the Malediction, so Resolution won't want to dive too deep on this. With the Breach Fire, he'll be really careful with the tick out. They're still going to find a kill onto Mind Nuts. Yogi staying in close for that one. Even Resolution just swinging back in again. There's Nurshaka dropping, always going to fly on the high ground. One more brain tap, keeping his life up more importantly than damaging Sing Sing, allowing him to get back to the other side of the river. As Resolution, that haster, and that's why he came back in again. But Team Empire 2 for 1, so just an even trade of 1-1.
Yeah, and they had to be prepared for that just because of the fact that you knew that Yoki wasn't in this bottom lane. He can't contest Necroman one-on-one. You have to be a little bit more careful and cautious for that, because I think that actually makes that's a better trade for Empire, just because Yoki, now this bottom lane is going to push in, the supports had to rotate mid, they won't have mana or HP to kind of contend with him, and so he's finally going to get some levels. But they should have been aware, because every time the supports are always going to move in position to secure your mid laner the rune.
Yoki got to run away. Is that he doesn't actually have sight, he's not level 6 yet, but the visual buying the space to get away from, more importantly, the balls now. Getting back behind the tower while the Nightmare did come in from Always Want to Fly, but there's no more support. The BU aren't going to force the issue. They don't have a creep wave in range of the tower. They have to just slip back through the tree line.
And Sing pops his ultimate. He was trying to get ready with the Witch Doctor mid to try to pressure Resolution, but Resolution senses what's going on, immediately goes back. But Sing's still having a pretty good job of it right now. He's beating Resolution in CS by a little bit, so he's doing a good job, and he's been a part of a kill so far, so looks like he's going to go for that top rune again, but this time he's got Come With Me, who's ultra prepared to secure him this one.
Yeah, at the same time, then they lose the bottom one. As Bristleback just walked point blank range into the Wisp. He doesn't care about the Wisp, just a ball of light to him.
It's scary, man. You don't know what he is or which direction he's facing. That's the scary part about Wisp. You don't know what he's looking at.
Does it even matter what he's looking at? Like, if he's there with somebody else is looking at you, then I'm scared. I don't think I'm going to get that afraid of balls.
Alright, so Sing Sing in mid continues to farm out. They rotated Always Want to Fly here, but again, this isn't supposed to be a pressure hero. Like, Bane doesn't do the best job, and what is there really to set up for? There's no Mirana arrow or anything like that.
Yeah, that's why it's such a weird pickup. Like, it works with the gyro, but doesn't work with anything else. Like, you can have just control factor and that's it. Maybe that's all Empire is really searching for as well.
I think that's what it is, Tor. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think it's just, you know, if Wisp +1 comes in, you sleep the core, and then kind of deal with the Wisp beforehand. And I think that's a good response to it.
Well, it is the perfect one. You have Disruptor or Bane. A Disruptor we already talked about, like you can throw out your ultimate, or you can just potentially just glimpse one back, and Bane can Nightmare one and Fiend Script the other. Yeah, it's the perfect control against Wisp. And you've got two different sets too, so you don't have to just always rely on one working for you.
Oh, for sure. In this mid lane, Sing's just spamming out his Breathe Fire. Game is kind of slowed down a little bit. It's the nature of the heroes that are in this game as well. Like, Wisp won't get aggressive until he's level 6. Empire supports desperately need levels. Like, this isn't a pair that is going to go around doing anything.
Always want to fly killed himself here. He can't get himself away. Try to brain sap life out of Clockwork, but it was already too late. But he'll lose the T1 tower on top. Paris, okay, there is no denial on that one. That was just the catapult which wins.
And at bottom,
a little bit of a trade-off.
Sing's rotated at bottom for this tower. And that's what you were talking about. Put a little bit of pressure on mid, and then just kind of go to your safe lane and take this tower
fight
down.
Though. Yoki's in the perfect position, and there's no Radiant Observer Ward. Actually, they can see him now, and they're peeing him out. And Yoki, there goes your fissure. It's going to slow them down into the call down, but it needed to block. It really needed to block. If this wasn't just daytime, or we only just entered daytime as well, if this was still nighttime, he would have been able to get into position to let that fissure off and block up the lane.
Yeah, and that would have been absolutely huge. I think that's a team wipe for Empire if they're able to accomplish that, just because of the fact that the Wisp went top. There's not a lot of time. He doesn't have a TP. You're not really going to have a counter initiation on top of that, but daytime working against Team Empire. Silent had to rotate as well for this.
Sing. They want this tower gone. And they're going to get it as well. Last hit comes in for the Witch Doctor. So Team Empire, it's a talent trade-off. It's a 1-for-1. Overall, like, there's nothing really in this game. A little bit of experience advantage coming the way of Bird and United, but we still know this game really comes down to the team fights, all about the timing, and when Silent's able to do things like this, just free farm up as many stats as possible, even using the ultimate, the call down, to clean this up. This is an injection of money coming into the Gyrocopter. You said it before, like Silent's one of the greatest Gyrocopters in the game.
Oh, for sure. And being able to give him these stacks. The more important thing as well is that always on a fly takes some levels off of this, because once he gets level 6, the effectiveness of the hero just increases so much. And he's just been doing these stacks for him. And so passive games like this benefit this kind of stacking meta where you bring up one support to stack, then he soaks up the experience. You send one hero to take the carry role.
Resolution's fine. He'll be able to heal up quite quickly inside the base, even if he's worried about it. He has stick charges. Now Clockwork, hook-shotting in, always want to fly. Nightmare's himself up, just trying to buy a little bit more time and switch that Nightmare route while his Star is going to work with the flat cannon, but not enough work in time. They're able to get the kill on him. So down for a minute, Soshka very, very low, having to push back away from both the Static Storm and the Fissure. But does find the gap to get out there with that healing coming in from Come With Me. They're keeping themselves up and now battling into a low hard dance, dropping quickly, and the Rocket flying in, but it's the Disruptor still going down to the Witch Doctor who gets the kill. And Team Empire, the most unfavorable trade you're searching for. You've just lost your big core.
Yeah, you lose the Gyrocopter right there, who's just spent that entire time stacking as well, so whatever infusion of golden levels you just gave, you gave up the other way, and that's just Burden United playing well against their team. They were willing to get into a 5-man fight, and Empire just weren't quite ready for it. And at the same time, Silent kind of got baited in. He's like, oh, look at how much damage my flat cannon's doing. Like, I'm going to go in and see what happens. But again, it's Gyro. He's just a weak hero early on.
And so you're able to get that damage healing item up. And you're up against heroes who are horrendous for thinking that you've done enough damage to get the kill, and then all of a sudden, no kills. Because you got both, like, you got Death Pulse, which can come out. You got DK, who's innately tanky. You've then got the Wisp, who's healing up everyone with the Tether, who's then getting the coupling effect, which is coming in from the Restoration from the Witch Doctor, who is connected on basically 3 heroes the entire time during that fight too. So all this damage which Empire is able to do is very short period of time, because it's flat cannon for, what, a grand total of 3-4 seconds while you do all your shots, and then there's nothing until that comes back up again.
Yeah, and Empire, I mean, they're kind of playing a little bit sloppier than I expect them to. They're kind of coming up here a little bit flat-footed. Their rotations feel a little bit off to me, and it just feels like Burden is a little bit more on top of things. Like, yeah, they're doing a good job stacking and getting as much farm as they can for Silent, but at the same time, I think the team fights are just being played a little bit better by Burden as a whole.
I will agree. But yeah, Empire need to just slow up the game even more.
Radiant's
But
bottom
Burden United
tower
at the
is
same
under
time, we can
attack.
look at their front. They've got to keep attacking, but how much is it costing them every time they do this? So I'm still looking at the net worth. At Empire, okay, Yoki was completely sacked. He is a Soul Ring and Tranquil Boots Earthshaker. This is all you're going to get from him. Okay, that casket's not going to do anything. But you've still got Bristleback and Gyrocopter sitting just shy of 5k net worth. They
Dire's
haven't
top
slowed down
tower
on
is
their
under
farm.
attack.
And Empire's in position where they could potentially fight the top lane. You're still missing one person, that's Resolution. He has a TP scroll, so he can come straight into the fight. And the Rock is scouting out the fact that Silent as well as Aloha Dance is sitting in the tree lines. I don't know if underneath this tower. In fact, Come With Me's going to walk up. They're so close, and now they'll see each other. The Vigil will lock Come With Me in. The cooldown means they can't bring a support. In fact, Soshka, he will jump in. The Cogs, the relocate. It pulls him out just in time. Yogi's going to end up going down. Since into the front line, covering the entire rocket barrage, with also Resolution starting up the quill sprays, and now it's Burden United. They're being overpowered by Team Empire with a triple kill for Resolution, looking for the Ultra, and there it is, killing off the Dragon Knights. Clockwork is alive.
he's gonna get the ramp.
And it's a full rampage. Clockwork sitting back on the tree line. And Team Empire, well, they wanted to slow things up, but I don't think they have to anymore. That's a huge amount of money coming into the Bristle.
They just had the better positioning for the team fight, and Burden United's position looks so awkward. They got caught by that 3-man Disruptor ulti that was played so well by Aloha Dance. Like, that just won them the fight. The fight just became too difficult for them. There's no real option for them to back at this point, though, and so, you know, they were trying to apply the pressure. They did the right thing by going to that top lane, but I think that was just too much of an overcommitment. And that's what we were talking about, is that Empire need to slow the pace of the game down, wait for better defensive opportunities to come to them, because they know that Burden is going to try to get aggressive. But I mean, at the same time, if you're Burden United, you have to play those fights better. You have to be a little bit more cautious with how you enter.
Yeah, and it went so deep in too. Like, Come With Me just thought, okay, I could check out the tree line. You catch someone in there, and then Soshka made the decision as well, where you went in to control the Earthshaker. Like we already said before that fight began, he's a throwaway hero from Empire right now. Like, you're actually getting more value out of the Disruptor than you are the Earthshaker until that fight when Burden United commit 2 heroes to kill him off in a choke point. So you get controlled up, you can't walk through the cooldown, or else you just walk into all of Empire's damage.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah, exactly.
tower
They were
is
just a
under
little bit
attack.
too split up. But I think that Burden United still have been doing a pretty good job of pressuring. They just have to be careful. Like,
Yep.
every single one of these attempts cost them so much. I mean, yeah, giving up a rampage to Resolution at 13 minutes in the game, obviously, like, you don't
Yeah.
have to analyze much into that, but they have to be a little bit more careful about how they assemble. And this is the correct way to do it. They're giving no time for Empire to respond, because that's what happened last time, is that Empire, they set their heroes up, they had 1, 2, or 3 heroes in preparation for this, but this time they have no time to respond, and this is how you want to be able to pressure if you're Burden United. Not go for that immediate, obvious 5-man.
Yep. Well, for now at least they do get the T1 tower, which is what they came for. Looks like they're going to try and force a little bit further here. Don't wait out the time, but Team Empire's going to come back into this. Resolution, you might have something new. It's, that's Silence Ogre Club. So we just have the Sanj, which was the newest thing on the Bristleback. But it's still bringing him up to 1800 HP. And correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I haven't seen a Scythe kill yet. Like, there was
they had
one which
one
I think
missed.
on the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, there was one missed.
like the timer was there, but I didn't see. Obviously, yeah, we didn't have an Aghanims operate on it, hence no icon. That's the only one we've had so far. So Team Empire have me too controlled. Speaking of that, always want to fly out way too far. Hookshot's going to come in, and Thane will nightmare himself up, walking back into the static storm to try and get a brain step over on Nuts, who's healing himself up with all the 6 charges he's got. The Resolution will arrive for his 6th kill, but he's maledicted up. Too much damage on him. They need to buy space for Resolution before this kill is lost, and they will actually lose it. There goes your side, and that's a long time on the sideline. 80 seconds, plus a lot of farm coming into Necroman. They move over to Yoki and going in even deeper for Aloha Dance. The 1 charge will keep him up, while the Death Ward from Cowanley was doing the damage. But this means they take out the tier 2 tower, and that's the engagement the BU are looking for.
Yeah, they had the better positioning. Empire just, again, they used the call down to preemptively farm, but then BU were just ready to fight again, and Empire just didn't have any wards in place. They weren't prepared for it. BU had the best vision they possibly could with this ward especially. They just took control of the jungle so quickly, and just like that, 2 towers, and it's the game back for you.
Yeah. I don't think Empire really felt like BU were trying to push that. Like, the positioning from Always Wanna Fly, like, he was out a very, very long way trying to do some scouting. Potentially he was looking just to put a nice ward down there to have a bit of a deeper look into their own jungle.
The other thing too is that Resolution definitely wasn't prepared for this foreign Maledict. Like the amount of damage that it put out, it looked like he wanted to keep engaging, getting in there and out, seeing what he could do with his cool sprays. But come with me, maxing out that Maledict off the bat, just the damage that he took was so high, and he had no way of fighting into that. And so Empire, again, they also have to be more cautious with how they enter fights.
Yep. Do we dare say the word slow it back down again, or Team Empire? Maybe for once they become the initiators. You finish up an S and Y over on the Gyrocopter. He's coming down the mid. It looks like, yeah, they're grouping up for a 5-man smoke here. You still only got Fissure there for Yoki, but it can't be too much longer until he's going to have that Blink Dagger available. Even the Bane's got a Medallion. Actually, now that I see the Medallion, it's going to be Roshan. And I think BU, yeah, they've actually called it already. Soshka's moving over. They're scouting with rockets. Now, the vision of the Dire side did see Soshka moving across there, but they won't see Sing Sing.
Oh, he's actually invis, and there's no way for them to know about this. And Sing actually goes the other way, though. They do have 2 sentries, and if the smoke pops, I think they would sentry and just kill him, but he's just kind of scouting around the jungle, seeing what's up.
Empire want more information. Everyone's gone missing from both sides, so both teams know that someone's up to something.
And Resolution just going to pop the smoke with the timer out, and Rocket comes in. Empire sitting behind him, and it looks like Burden United want to try to take the site. No, they actually just circle out.
Do you actually want to see an SMY over on Resolution, or is this one of these games where having something like the Halberd would actually be more useful?
I think going for the Silver Edge against the DK is pretty effective, but SNY as well is okay. You just need some way to engage and get out really quickly as well. Because the one thing that Empire don't really have is the best way to initiate without a Blink Dagger on their Earthshaker. Like before that, you're kind of just hoping that BU did what they did at top, which is kind of overextend into a fight, have the Earthshaker Fissure kind of block people out, have the call down as well, and just take the positional advantage.
Actually, one thing I didn't think about with the DK passive getting disabled by a Silver Edge.
Yeah.
That, like, you take away all of his armor and all of his health regen. That's brutal up against a Dragon Knight.
But he's actually going to opt to go for the SNY, which I think is an okay choice. At some point, too, you can break it up if you want later on in the game.
Empire's coming near Roshan, but these Observer Wards and rockets are just everywhere. So they're seeing everything, including Empire now backing up to the mid.
Yeah, and it's just the benefit of good warding by BU, and I actually really like that. Like, they've done a really good job of prioritizing warding so far.
Well, they're going to come and have a kill on bottom lane, or at least attempt it. Sing Sing running in close. Sargus turns on the flat hand as well as the ultimate. Does as much damage as he can before he's going to die, but Reaper's Scythe hits again, and Gyrocopter on the sidelines for 70 seconds. Come with me. Well, he's locked inside the Low Dance's ultimate, and He's got Brain Sappers there for always going to fly too. They're able to get the revenge kill. Low Dance, the Malediction won't be killing him off. But a 1-for-1 trade-off, you just lost your Gyro for a Witch Doctor. That's perfect to beat you.
Yeah, and Silent has to respect that rotation. Like, they haven't done it all game, but that's the first time they get really aggressive with that Wisp ultimate, and they have to be really attentive towards that, just because you can't split push farm out like you normally would, based on who you see on the map. And so they see Sing Sing mid, and they're like, okay, we'll be alright, but gotta respect the rotation. At bottom, Necroman's going to continue to farm out. He's almost got his Aghanim Scepter as well, and once that happens, getting into the high ground once your hero's dead forever and he doesn't have a buyback is going to be really easy for Burden United.
Sing Sing's coming up to Yoki. Just takes out his entire pull he was trying to do. One Breathe Fire does the work. And it's actually crazy to consider the position the Burden United's in. It feels like they're a lot more than what the graphs are saying. Like, the experience is just there for Empire, but the net worth is just there for BU. For me, at this point, if it wasn't for the 6 kills that came onto the Bristleback, I'd almost feel like BU have got this game so heavily in their favor, because they can get a lot of momentum right now.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you take away the Rampage from Resolution, yeah, BU have got this game, but
everything is wonderful.
Yeah, then everything's great, but I mean, Burden United are still, like, this is anybody's game, Toby. Like, the farm is pretty equivalent. Both teams in the late game, I favor Burden United as well, just because Necroman with an Aghanim Scepter, like, turning a fight into a 4v5 is absolutely brutal. You don't really understand the potential of this item until he gets it. Especially
if it's like a big one. You take out the Bristleback at the Gyrocopter, that's not just winning the fight, that's taking a landmark after that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like taking an Aegis in some ways, where you can get aggressive with that, because you know there's no chance that hero comes back into the game. And so, Sing Sing, he actually grabs the Silver Edge as well, so he's got quite a lot of farm, and that's gonna absolutely ruin this Bristleback. Like, Resolution has to be so careful with this Aghanim Scepter plus Dragon Knight Silver Edge combo.
He actually needs to finish his BKB.
Radiant's
And
bottom
that's
tower
really
is
what he
under
needs. He
attack.
needs to make sure he's got the passive
Dire's
available.
structures are fortified.
And this middle lane should be going down.
Dire's middle
Empire
tower
again
is
not
under attack.
set up in time for this one.
Radiant's bottom
Kawami's
tower
looping
is
around, hook
under
shot in.
attack.
They found a Aloha dance. And, well, at this point, the Heartstopper aura is ticking him away, but he's also being kept alive as the Glimmer Cape Kawami into the ult into paralyzing Gasgadu to work for the Aloha dance. Gets the ulti off, so Kawami will drop an Aloha dance on 17 HP. Will be capable of surviving, moving to the trees until the rocket from Clockwork flies in and takes him out. Well, he thought he got the better trade-off then. The tier 2 tower is also gone in mid.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
So,
attack.
yeah. Bird United, they strike again, and only one more outer tower remains for Empire.
Yeah, and Empire just, I mean, they have to be careful. They have no real way to counter-initiate.
Silence said. Actually caught him out, and who they bring in is just going to be Soskers. I thought if that was the Necrolite coming in, you could put him on the sidelines for an even longer time.
Necroman heads to the bottom lane. He's going to push this out, and nobody really has too many levels, though. Necroman's only level 11, but still, that ultimate is still so dangerous to
His axe is
resolution. Yeah.
It's coming on the courier at the moment. So if Empire try and fight into this and stop BU from doing Roshan, they could be hurting very, very hard.
Yeah, they know about it, but they're not going to fight without their clockwork yet.
But then again, there's not enough damage here from PU to do this.
Yeah, it's taking a little bit longer than we expected.
Oh, well, Sing Sing's not really a damage dealer at this point, and they've got no negative armor to work with, so it almost feels like VU are playing a bait game, trying to ask Empire to fight them.
They're chipping away at it slowly. Like, they're kind of they're making strides.
Slowly is the key word. You can't keep doing it this slowly up against Empire's team fight. They put down the wall to get a little bit of vision. They see Roshan's low, and there's Sing Sing quickly into the Shadow Edge, and there it is. Where's your Bristol Pack now? Malediction on him as well. Resolution's in so much trouble. He'll actually pop here no matter what. And, well, there's your cycle ensure it. 90 seconds on the sideline with the ult. It's a good storm though until Soska jumping himself in, but isn't enough damage? Silence standing on the high ground. It's a double kill for him. Soska is still going to be in there to get the last hit on him. But as 4 heroes lost, Necroman's about to drop, Yoki's right behind him, they're glimmering up, and with the fissure, BU just get dropped again, and does it feel like Aloha Dance is pulling Empire out of the fire?
Yeah, every single fight, this guy's been so on position with his ultimates, and getting into that kind of choke point fight, where there's so many things for Empire to set up with. They've got the Echo Slam, the Fissure, the Disruptor Static Storm. Like, he doesn't really even need to get off the kinetic field, and again, Burden United have to respect that team fight. Like, they thought that they had the advantageous team fight because resolution goes down and things got a little bit sloppier. But at the same time, Sing Sing, he doesn't have a BKB. So you can't really keep pushing that advantage, especially when Empire are so set up. I've never seen a more set up team on top of a high ground. And so Burden United, again, play a little bit cleaner, wait things out just a little bit, and maybe you can 5-man team wipe.
Maybe. Well, they've kind of shown them they can do it in the past, but when you can't keep having these engagements. The experience now is really going the way of Empire. They're down to, or up to, actually even more as the graph's now going to update itself. It's almost 6,000 experience advantage coming to Empire and 2k in the net worth. We still have to look towards the end goal. How do you end this game? The Necrolite's getting bigger. Yes, you get a big advantage by throwing down that scythe, so you can pull somebody effectively out of the game for a long time. But is DK getting strong enough that you can start to look to take high ground? Is Clockwork strong enough when he hooks in to survive up against Empire? And then what is Witch Doctor as well as Wisp doing at that point?
I think that the Burden, they have a good way to end the game. Just because, again, this Necrolite ultimate, the best thing about it, Toby, is that you can just win the game off of it. You get one good Necro ult off, and that means racks. You do it again, and that means game. So I think that they're okay with this pace of game. Like, obviously, don't feed too much, but if the game is within 10 to 15k net worth, I always think that Burden can win with a Necrolite on their team. But at the same time, Empire, as resolution gets a little bit stronger, as Silence starts to pick up a little bit more items, like getting the BKB I think is so crucial for him, then the game gets a little bit difficult for Burden United.
Oh, Team Empire. Roshan still hasn't died yet. He's still injured from before too, and that's exactly what Empire want to get into. They might feel confident enough now that they can take these fights even when it's visible. Because you do have that Blink Daggering, Echo Slamming, Earthshake. You still got Silent when... Is that a BKB? Yeah, it's a BKB coming out for Silent now. I'd almost say that that Empire should almost force the fight. Let him hook shot in. If you can get him into the choke point only, like if you can take him deep into the Roshan, then it's good. If it's in the open area, no, that's great.
I think they honestly,
Just smoked on top
yeah,
of
they're
the
doing
ward.
the better thing is like go for the smoke. Obviously, going for it under the ward isn't ideal, but I think straight up roshing against this team would be disastrous. Like I think you get absolutely wrecked in the fight. You kind of get yourself into a choke point and you let Burden set up with things like the Witch Doctor ult, and then you just get ruined. So I think if you're Empire, look for pickoffs, go with the Roshan, secure yourself against the Necrolite ultimate. For example, get it on a resolution and just make sure that he won't go down to the Necrolite Ags plus the Silver Edge break.
Well, for now, Empire was following your advice, obviously smoking up, but they're not going to find anything after being visible. And Bird United, they just pull back. They pull back a long, long way too.
I'm trying to analyze this game, but then I'm looking at like the net worth, and both teams are it's just kind of like swinging back and forth. And I mean that's a sign of a good game, I think. It's that both teams, you know, they've played a little bit sloppy in the beginning, but they've both been able to pull it back at some point. And Empire going for the 5-man push, it looks like. Nope. Resolution's just going to back up and force somebody down.
It's more like they're just establishing dominance over the BU side of the map. And they just try and take the Radiant jungle so then they can just slip themselves into Roshan. This time they're going to smoke up, not underneath an observer ward. So, question is, will they go to the pit? Soshka is going to rocket off cooldown in 1 second time. No, they're coming up to their own jungle. So they know that they've got Necroman pushing up the top lane. But this has to reveal the fact that the rest of BU has to be in their own jungle. They leave an aggressive ward behind, and they find Come With Me as well as Sing Sing. Come With Me, Paralyzing Cast going to buy him a little bit of space. The Rocket Barrage has already done its work, however, and Come With Me, it took a little bit longer than expected, but the result is still the same. His death.
Yeah, they knew that they were in their jungle. Like, no carry is ever going to push out that far. That's kind of what Silent did. Remember at bottom when he got picked off by the Wisp? Is that he kind of gave the impression that people were behind him, and he went for a little bit of more greedy farm. But this time, I mean, they have to know at this point in the game, if somebody gets caught out, it's so huge. So setting up for Necroman at top was the rest of Burden United, but 5-man smoke for a Witch Doctor, not exactly the best bounty that you're going to get out of it. And I think you're okay if you're Burden United with what just happened.
Well, if I was Empire, I'd just be happy getting a kill without losing someone. Necroman getting dragged back by the Glimpse, but not exactly where they want to fight. The Fissure actually keeping Minot's Necroman out. And luckily for the Clockwork, he's afforded a 4-star, so he gets himself out of his own cogs. The Resolution now, he wants to have a crack, because there's no hook shot available, so they don't have a quick way into the pit.
Yeah, exactly. With that, it's hard for them to set up for this fight. They don't really have vision in there as well. They're going to throw down the rocket, but it's going down really quickly, and Resolution has a BKB as well.
Yep. And Yogi's going to Fissure block him out. Keep Sing Sing out just after he went to Dragonfall. Soshka pushing him back with the cogs, but Roshan still belongs to Empire. Jarakop, there's the Aegis Immortal there. They may have lost the Bane, but now they come out to fight Team Empire, looking to chase after Clockwork, turns on the BKB, call down Silvarbal as well, so Soshka won't be able to survive this one, and Sing Sing isolated himself inside the Roche pit, chasing after a low art dance, and gets pulled back out again. The relocate will end up saving him, not taking him too far away, but Yoki 4-stars in to come up with that paralyzing cast. It's a huge problem for him. In fact, Silent, the Urn is ticking him down. He's got stick charges available, so he won't break the Aegis Immortal. So low art dance inside the pit again, still trying to battle out with his own ultimate into the Glimmer Cape. They got Sentry Wards this time around for that, and Sing Sing will get the double kill. But Gyrocopter and Bristleback both got out to safety, and you took Roshan. I'm not going to say it's a bad fight for Team Empire. I'm almost going to say it's an even trade.
Yeah, that was as pretty much even as it gets, and that actually looked like it could have been so much worse. But Minot's, I mean, I just want to highlight the fact that he did such a good job. He was so patient with the relocate, waits for the last second, and just gets Sing out of that bad position, and they were able to kind of isolate, re-engage, go for more. Yoki thought he was going for the play right there, trying to get aggressive on there, but I mean, that cast just ripped them to shreds.
Yep. I'm actually really surprised in Burden United. This isn't what I was expecting from them. Like, after watching their MLG game the other day, I was very disheartened. Hence, I was like, yeah, Empire, they're going to win every lane hands down. There shouldn't be much of a problem. There'll be some unique thing that might catch him off guard, but it was talking more like cheese kind of style. But BU, they've really stepped up their game for this series, and they're playing a lot better. There's still a couple of hiccups, like battle on top, battle up near the dire ancients, but beyond that, I'm very happy to have this to see this team play now up against Empire.
Yeah, I think both teams have shown a lot of skill in this game, just the way that they fight and the way that they've been setting up. And I mean, this looks so much closer than you'd expect out of both teams. Yep. This actually looks like an incredibly close game. And
if I had all my res better than Empire, I'd be worried my res are in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. But Empire, they do have the advantage. They're pushing up. They want to use this Aegis if they can. you have to, Toby. Like, once you have an Aegis, you have to fight. Just because of the fact that if Necroman catches you and they're playing aggressively, that is going to mean rack. So you have to be the ones to kind of aggress here and try to get what you can out of it. And Come With Me gets glimpse back, kind of holds them back in place.
He didn't really move that far. Resolution's taking care of as much of the creep wave as possible, but it's minimal damage into the tower. Resolution really wants to start beating into it. Like, he's almost got 300 damage a pop when he keeps these warpath stacks up. Just wants to put all of that physical DPS into the tower. And they're even buffing him up as much as they can. It's like, just throw the medallion, keep Resolution on the front lines, and they beat through the tower. Fortification will be forced out of here from Burden United. But it's a little bit by little bit. And always want to fly. He's actually taking away even the damage from the Dragon Knight. So we've got the Enfeeble coming into play.
Yeah, that's going to be so annoying. The tower's going to go down. Burden United surrender it. They do use the glyph, which I think is a little bit surprising because it didn't look like they wanted to get into an engagement whatsoever. And so I think holding onto it would have been a better choice. But at the same time, you doubt that Empire go for high ground here.
Well, you could just say Empire then push to the tier 2 tower on bottom lane, so you're going to lose another tower.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the play for them.
Just systematically destroy the buildings to beat you.
It looks like they're going to just go doing that. And Resolution has been sent top to deal with the split push. He does have a haste rune and a BKB, so... and the Wisp is a top, so there's no one else he can drag into this.
Yeah.
So Empire just clearing out the jungle. I think they're just trying to get wards down. EU, Sing Sing, he's invised in.
Yep, and there's no sentry wards from Empire, so they're not going to see him there. But they're already backing up. They realize something is up.
Yeah, they're getting the hell out of there, but MKB completely finished on this gyrocopter, and so that's the one thing I thought he lacked at this point. Like, he's building pretty tanky, good way to get in and out of engagements, but he needed some sort of damage, so it didn't matter if you kite or not, and so I think this is the item for him.
That's perfect. Just rack up the damage even more. You got Resolution, who's going to be playing the armor game, so he's got himself a plate mail for the moment. I'm assuming Assault Cuirass.
Yeah, almost certain. They need something to break high ground, and that's what you're going to be able to do with the AC. Just do a little bit more damage to towers.
Well, they can also... I'm surprised it took him this long to push into the tier 2 tower. I know there's like a potential relocate in. Soshka hookshotting, trying to do it, and in fact there is that relocate. They're bringing Necroman for the ultimate again from Disruptor. The perfect positioning, Minot's and Necroman. He's actually being Fiend scripted up. They did not come in here to do this. We're just losing 3 players. Paris through the other side of the tree line will be able to survive, but Come With Me moved in even deeper to try and keep him alive. There's your glimpse back, so Soshka will die as well. DK Sing Sing able to TP himself away to safety. But Team Empire just took a 4-0 fight, and this will be tier 2 tower. Fortification still on cooldown for another 3 minutes as well. If they can push fast enough, they could potentially take the tier 3.
Yeah, and what looked like a great fight for Burden United, they were able to kind of split off. Resolution wasn't in position, but Silent does so much damage. Like, what he actually did there was he popped the BKB before, you know, he dies, comes back, and he's like, okay, I'm actually not going to die here. I'm just going to put out a bunch of damage. Burden United are kind of hard committed for this, and Necroman died so fast to the Rocket Barrage. He doesn't have a BKB of his own, so not being able to negate anything in Empire.
Even once he does, check out the item which is flying in for Aloha Dance. You got the full Aghanim for the Disruptor now completed.
Yeah, that's actually going to be so hard for United to fight into. This Disruptor getting an Ags at 35 minutes with a Glimmer Cape as well. And Come With Me is actually invised up, looking for some sort of initiation.
He's hoping for a pickoff. Paralyzing task into Resolution with a Malediction, but no one's close enough to go with him. And in fact, are they turning around for a fight? It looks like they are going to. In fact, Aloha Dance, he's got this ulti down with the Echo Slam from Yoki. Minots and Soshka, they're the ones in trouble. And Resolution comes in for his physical DPS. Yoki forced after wave. And Clockwork, well, at least he can push him back with the Cape Resolution. Not enough damage from Necroman to get him killed with the ultimate. But still, looks like it doesn't matter for Empire. They kill off Sing Sing. They're taking a 5-man wipe. Your only casualty of war was Resolution. And now you can take out mid-racks as well.
Yeah, this is going to go down for sure. Resolution isn't alive, but at the same time, nobody's alive to defend these racks. And I think Burden are kind of using these moments right now to say, okay, what went wrong? What could have gone better? And mass buybacks coming in from them, but this should just mean a tower for Empire to go back down. They have to be careful as well.
Aloha Dance. He's got a sentry ward. You can see Sing Sing right on top of him. So he Glimmer Capes away. He actually went into the Radiant base to try and buy himself up a Blink Dagger, ended up selling it. Now Sing Sing. That was a dieback, and there it is. The call comes out from Sing. GG is it. So that will be it.
Yeah, and so far, I mean, Burden United, they put up a really good game. I thought they had a lot of moments where you could have said, okay, they actually played really well. This is something that they definitely could have won. And I think if it wasn't for 1 or 2 moments, they easily could have as well.
And I'm really impressed with Burton United. I still, yeah, there's a couple of problems. I think for Team Empire,